Back. Now, questions have been raised about the removal of Charl Kinnear's armed security. The investigator had been working on cases involving some of the most notorious gang bosses within the Western Cape province, and a suspect in Kinnear's murder has been arrested and is expected to appear in court this morning. But retired police crime stats expert Chris Kock is my guest this morning ahead of that appearance, and he joins me back now. Chris, thank you so much for your patience and staying with us there. You're raising quite important points there. I asked you the question initially that how common do we find such cases of organized crime, but also where a top investigator in this instance, such as Charl Kinnear, would be targeted and unfortunately, tragically losing their life?
Yeah, I must say the targeting or the killing of murdering of a top investigator like this, like Mr. Kinnear, is actually not so common. But it actually indicates that when police come close to organized crime, close to certain figures in organized crime, and they become a threat to the syndicate, they can be eliminated. That is what is actually happening. You see these things in American movies. I can think of two movies right at the end of 2019, Black and Blue, and I think 28 Bridges. And you see the things happening there, and you always think, oh, well, that's movies. But this is in real life. This is actually happening.
But also, Chris, there were questions raised around the removal of Mr. Kinnear's security. He did make mention of the fact that he had been receiving death threats. So why would then his security be removed from him?
Well, that's very strange, and I think the minister have already made a remark in that regard. I don't want to go into, because I don't have all the background for that, to go into specifics, but it will be very bad if it was done deliberately, if it was done intentionally. Maybe something went wrong somewhere, some instructions went haywire, but the fact of the matter is a person like this, like the Lieutenant Colonel in this case, should have been protected because he worked on high-profile organized crime in the Western Cape and even in Gauteng, and he should have been protected because if he comes too close, and what is also even more worrying is that it seems, according to media reports, that was traced. His calls, his telephone calls, his movements were traced. Now, to do that kind of thing, you need very sophisticated software, technology. And actually, strictly according to law, it's only the police and certain sections within the police who can do that. Now, if the organized crime syndicate now also have that technology, or have access to that technology, then it's quite worrying.
Yeah. Chris, at this stage, what do you know about the suspect at hand? He hasn't been named, but we do know that he's a professional, or a former professional rugby player. We know that he's aged 39, arrested at his home. Beyond that, any information that you know also as to his involvement at the stage leading to the assassination of Mr. Kinnear?
No, I don't know any. I don't have any facts. I've only read what I've read and hear what I hear in the media. But as I say, he must have become a real threat to somebody in the organized crime underworld, or to a syndicate. And even it is not, when you talk organized crime, you also talk corruption. And you talk corruption within, unfortunately, and as I say, when you look at American movies, you see that often, and that is not movies, that is the truth. If you look at the organized crime, always involve police officers of whatever rank, from the lowest to the highest rank.
Right.
And I think that this investigation came very close to either figures high up in the organized crime world, or in maybe even within the the criminal justice system.
So, I mean, with that being said, do you think this will be a difficult case to crack? Yes, the suspect has been apprehended. Yes, he is appearing in court today. I mean, but by virtue of even that 1 million rand offer for anyone with information, clearly this is one of, a high priority case here by the police. But also, as we make mention of this being a syndicate, will this be a difficult one for the police to crack in terms of getting to the source, be it someone or a group of people that are either in the SAPS, either that are quite influential, very powerful in these gangs within the country, even, we don't know, outside of the borders? Do you think it will be a difficult one then to crack?
Yeah, well, organized crime is always a different nut to crack because you need intelligence. You need intelligence. You need a lot of intelligence to know exactly how this thing works, who's who in the organized crime world, and who is connected to who. And now, then also looking at the information that Mr. Kinnear had before he died, and on what was he investigating, and what does that lead you to. It is difficult, but it's not impossible. And actually, what should happen, if the South African Police Service here, and the Hawks especially, should, and crime intelligence and all of these organizations within the police should actually, if they can crack this one and they can clearly indicate to us that they can solve this case and they can arrest the right people, that would be a very good, a step that can really restore confidence in the South African Police Service.
Well, Kock, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Thanks for your time.